screen on my other computer. Want to welcome you guys. I am Donovan Saadiq. I'm the recovering Democrat, and this is my show and my opinion. Before I get started, want to thank all of those people out there that are out there buying me a cup of coffee to keep the show going, keep everything, uh, you know, expressing. I woke up this morning, and your average logical thinker, she was putting down some really good stuff, and I'm so proud of her. Not only because she's my fellow veteran and airman, and I'm proud of her for the simple fact that she had her green screen in the back going, and I mean, again, another outlet to discuss things. I'm 100% rated PTSD, coming out of the military, whatever. So uh, for me, also, just being able to talk to people and do these things helps me as a veteran to get my aggression out and get my ideas out, and just kind of it just to talk to people. One of the biggest stigmas in the Black community is mental health. And as we see, there's a lot of mental health going on out here in the Black community, right? So we got to get over that stigma. There's nothing wrong with, telling somebody you're in a situation, or telling somebody you got a problem and you're not exactly sure where to go. Nobody has all the answers. I definitely don't have all the answers. And when I do ask people for the answers, I don't always agree with the answer they give me. So, big stigma, and I'm glad when I see my fellow veterans out there working the problem by any means necessary. Any means necessary. Yanni 2436, good to see you back. How hi and how are you this afternoon? It is hot here in Southern California. The last 3 days, it has been averaging like 80 degrees, which is, it's wintertime. At night it gets fairly cold. I know LA gets cold because they're near the ocean. I live out in the desert, and it gets cold out here at night. We're getting like the high 30s, low 40s, stuff like that. So yeah. So before I get started, like I said, I don't want to take this too long, but it's I just have okay. Let's break this down. Now that Donald Trump is in office, people are starting to deal with the reality that this is the reality, something they have to deal with. Yanni says it's 74 degrees here in Louisiana. Yes, my home, my birth state, Louisiana. I am from New Roads, Louisiana. I was born there in 1970, of course, right by the Mississippi River, which is an area known as False River, because the river shifted and it created a false river. So New Roads near Baton Rouge is where I was born. My mom is currently living in Slidell. My brother is stationed at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi. So he's down there. But all of my family were all from New Roads. I'm from Natchitoches. I think I know where that's at. I was just born there. So just, forgive me. I love going there in the summertime, but I don't know anything other than the food and where my people are. I would tell my sons, if you ever go back to Louisiana and you go to the town of New Roads, you just tell the people your family, and they will tell you where that person is. So you'll never get lost in that town, because I come from a really big family. So Demetrius Evans says, yet again, a prominent representative of the Democratic Party shows how out of touch they are at Jasmine Crockett. Demetrius, it is so amazing. Great minds think alike. I am going to show you a little bit about what Jasmine Crockett is on. And I know you guys are saying, what's wrong with his camera? I'm on my other computer, and it kind of gives you like a cartoon look. And, I got to use it every now and then. Plus, my dog is Benny. Benny, the bad dog, is out of control. So I didn't want to be in that room with him by myself, because he is farting up a storm. And if you guys have dogs, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just crazy. LD, is that leader? LDKR, good afternoon. Good after you. Good afternoon to you as well. Michael Pan, hello, good to see you. I got your emails. Trust me. Matter of fact, I've got your emails, and I forwarded them to Corey Jackson, my representative, and he's basically taking them and using them as ass paper to wipe his ass with, because he's not for black people, even though he's a black man. But again, I want to show you guys this. We talk about this all the time. Anything, if you keep it long enough, will have value. I'm just going to show this for those of you guys that might know what that is. It's a comic book, of course, but it's a very instrumental comic book in the life of Spider-Man. It's the first appearance of the black costume. And when I was a boy, I collected comic books, coins, and stuff, but I was really big in the comic books. My aunt, rest her soul, I had a speech impediment, and sometimes you guys can hear me. I still have that speech impediment when I get excited or my adrenaline starts popping up. And, and I didn't like to read as a kid, and she got me hooked on comic books to read. She said, we got to do something to make him read. You can't make him read the classics. I'm not interested. So she got me reading comic books. And a lot of my friends in Japan that I grew up with and went to high school with, like I said, I was that weird black kid. I was into karate. I didn't wear Air Jordans. I wore like the surfer shoes. I was always in surfer shorts. I collected comic books. I was like in between everything. I was friends with everybody. I didn't really care, but I was that weird black kid that you guys sometimes, Jerry curl. I was cute, looked like Michael Jackson. But those of us that know, somebody went into my collection and took this out. And that somebody had to have known the significance of a comic book. Like I said, if a lot of you guys, if you saw a comic book sitting in my house, you guys would think nothing of it because you're not in the comic books. But if you're in the comic books and you know what you're looking at, you would know what the significance of that is. And I had a lot of comic books. I mean, just everything: Star Wars, Star Trek, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, the Justice League. I had it all. Got it. And when I was a teenager, the average comic book was 75 cents. When my aunt hooked me on comic books, I think they were 15 cents. And then I remember they were 35 cents for a long time. And then they went to 50 cents. But I remember initially it was like 15 cents when she got me hooked onto them. But this is the very first appearance of the black costume. And this is the symbiote costume that has Venom in it. So this costume is actually Venom. And the secret wars are taking place. So this is a perfect mint comic book of this one. You can get up to $2,000, sometimes $5,000. This one here, this particular one here, I paid about $400 something dollars. And notice it's in its, you got to have it all. Anyway. So anything that you keep can have value. So if you got children, and I'm speaking to your moms, stop going in our rooms after we go off to college and throwing stuff away that you think that, is ridiculous or we don't need. You guys are throwing away the cost of a college education, basically, because you don't know what you're doing. Stay out of our rooms. So I just wanted to put that in there for you guys. Hey, JJ, how you doing? Michael says, I emailed the public commissioners to say no to eminent domain against Black American freemen in rural Georgia. The good news is that Georgia court stopped eminent domain for now. I will keep you posted. Yeah, I saw that today as how they're using eminent domain. They used eminent domain in LA to build the stadium. Some of the properties around that stadium were eminent domained because they needed that property for the land, and they made the people sell their property fair value and moved them out of there. Now, when you're eminent domained, nothing you could really do about it, but make sure you get full value of what the property was. And usually when they eminent domain you, they don't really lowball you. They really give you a fair price, usually, if you know what you're doing, a little bit above market value. I've never, at least here in California, I've never heard of a property being eminent domain where the person got just fair value. They kind of incentivize it a little bit more because people would look at that, because everybody frowns down on eminent domain of people's property. Nobody wants their property taken against their will. So what usually municipalities do is they give more money So it makes the municipality look good, and it makes it look more than fair. So now if the owner rejects it, they look crazy, right? So there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But keep fighting, Michael. I'm fighting on my end. We appreciate everything you do, brother. We appreciate it. Demetrius Evans says, I'm 50, and when my mother comes up to Columbus to see me, I have to tell her to stay out of my room. Yeah, I'm telling you, they go in there and remember, I'm gonna get you, sucker. And Keenan Ivory Wayans comes back from the army, and Malona, his mom, tells him, I left your room just the way it was. And it's he had the socks and the food, and it was just crazy. But I love things like that. The one thing I can say every time I go home to my mom, the one thing that it and it's weird what parents, and I'm a parent myself, what we really value from our children is the most simplest things. I remember the very first thing I ever made for my mother. It was, remember those little stupid clay handprints? You just put your hand in, they get this little clay mold and you just put your hand in it. You make an impression of your hand. And then, the teacher on the back signs your name and you give it to your parents, right? That was the first thing I ever did for my mom, right? I come home one day on leave, and my mom is like, I don't know where it happened to my blah, 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 that thing, da, da. And I said, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about, because she's thinking that, my brother and I probably took it, for our children in our family and stuff like that. And I said, no, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about, right? My mom was literally upset that she could not find it, didn't know where it was at. What had happened was it fell in her hutch and she never saw it. So I mean, about 2 or 3 years passed by and she did not even realize it was like there, but not there. And then when I saw it, I saw how small my hand was. And I think I made that when I was in preschool. And it's one of my mom's most prized possessions, And I'm thinking, you know, what's what's the big deal? But it was the first gift I ever gave my mom, and that is like one of my mom's prized possessions from me. And she still has it to this day. I was really shocked because the funny thing is, I have a lot of degrees, right? I was mailing my mom all of my degrees, and when she was working for Geological Survey at the time, well, she only worked for Geological Survey, and she's working for Geological Survey, and she would take the degrees in the mail and she just put them in her desk. But you value this little clay thing that I could give you another print, Mom. But my degrees, she just put them in the desk. Big deal. Matter of fact, I had to go home, get the diplomas, frame them myself, and put them on her wall or give it back to her. Katrina happens or whatever it was, and my mom took them off the wall. I don't even think she put them up. They're in storage somewhere or whatever. So long story, crazy story. It's a thing. But you moms rock. You guys are the bedrock of the family. You guys are the bedrock of the community. I'm going to speak for myself. We could not do it without your nurturing, without your pushing, without your nagging, without those ass to belt whippings. You moms that are actually out there doing the work rock. Seriously. I would not be who I am if it wasn't for my mom. Like I said, my mom, I get on her nerves sometimes, but that is because I'm just like her. My mentality is just like her. I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm stubborn, whatever. And that's what she taught me to be, So, Mom, you created a monster. And she watches this show sometimes. Like I said, my mom, she don't like some of the stuff I be saying on this show. So she be telling me about it. But let me get you guys to what we're going to talk about today. Okay. We're going I got a message from a friend of mine. And he, once again, was pointing out how the federal government is just getting rid of jobs and it's affecting Black people. And, oh my God, and look what Trump is doing to Black people and blah, blah, blah. What's the big deal here? There's no argument. When you guys come to me with that argument about the racism of the United States, I'm not fighting you on that. I agree with you. The difference between you and me is I never forgot. You did. So now your job is in jeopardy. So my friend that is emailing me this, he basically told me that he wants me with I want to read this verbatim, okay? And I don't want to use my friend's name because I love the fact that we are starting to communicate as a people with each other and talk about this stuff because it's that important. Oh damn, I can't do it. Because it's that important. It really is. Let me see if I can get it on my phone real quick. And I want to show I want to say it. Oh man, he replied and wrote me a big old reply. He says, I hope you will use your platform to talk about this type of stuff that is being done to our people by this administration. Donovan, they are out here blatantly lying and creating false narratives about the service of regular folks out here trying to make an honest living and ruining their lives. Many Black folks are being targeted by this administration. Okay, he has a big reply later. I haven't even read it yet. So, okay. So do you guys hear the fear in his voice and his concern? And I have the exact same concern that he does. But again, isn't that what the Democrats do? Did you get a George Floyd bill to make sure that you can vote accordingly where other people could come into this country? They don't need a bill to vote if they come in here legally. Did you get a federal task force on policing in the United States from the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, what he promised if we gave him the Senate and ultimate power? So what's the difference between what Joe Biden has done and what the Democrats continually do versus what the Republicans do? Oh, that's right, R and a D. That's the difference. These are the same parties. What I don't understand is why is it that there's a lot of people out there, our people, that can't distinguish the difference between these parties? There is no difference. Good cop, bad cop. Those of you guys that have been falsely arrested, falsely accused, or involved in investigations, what do? Hey, man, if you give us the information, I could probably help you out and, in front of the judge, right? That's that good cop. Then you got the no nonsense guy that wants to beat you with the telephone book. I know I'm dating myself. They don't do that anymore, but there's no more telephone books. But he wants to beat you up to get the same information. So either he's going to get it through fear and intimidation, or they're going to get it through a carrot stick. But what is the one thing those two cops have in common? They want to arrest your ass. Not once did those cops say they're going to just, get rid of the charges. That's up to the DA. And once they get their information, they're nailing your ass to the wall. Did once all these people that are still in jail for marijuana convictions that hurts nobody but themselves, did Joe Biden pardon any of those people? But Donald Trump gets in office, and in the first week, he pardons all the January 6ers. If you believe they're guilty or not, that's irrelevant. What I'm trying to show you is in a week, he took care of his people. Demetra says, I don't see where Black folks are being harmed by what we're seeing so far from this administration. See, here's the problem, Demetrius. And, my friend, he's Boulay. Do you see what I'm saying? He's individually worried about his situation. He's not worried about the overall situation of Black people. Now, when I read you that, notice he told me to use my platform to do all this. Haven't I been doing that? Haven't Demetra and I, Brother Phil Scott, the African Diaspora channel, if you guys listen to, what's his name? Trey King. I like him too. Haven't we been ringing the alarm, telling people what they need to know? But see, he's Boulay. And that's one of the problems. See, he's Boulay. And whenever somebody tells me that, I say, no, I'm not going to use my platform to do what it is you should be doing. Since you're the part of the talent intent, you're the frat brother and, the alpha, sorority incorporated, all that other stuff. You guys are the ones that were supposed to be building the jobs for us. When a white man builds a job, he's building a job for his people. Anybody else that gets a job is inconsequential to that white man. When an Asian builds jobs, what do they say? No, family business. No hire here. Family business. No. They're building jobs for their people. And I can almost guarantee that that person that they say is their cousin is really their friend. And I don't want to be stereotypical, but go to Japan, go to Asia, go to any of those continents. And I know they say the same thing about us. But if you're not immersed in that culture, it is very difficult to distinguish a Japanese person that says, this is my cousin and that's my brother. When I lived over there, I just said, oh, okay. I didn't even question anything because I did not have the discernment to really know the difference at the time. I do now. I can tell the difference between a mainland Asian person and a mainland island Asian person, right? Valerie says FBA's built the USA, not people of color, right? I'm getting away from that term because again, when you say people of color, you're letting everybody else in. We need to be exclusive to ourselves. Simple as that. Exclusive to ourselves. Either I'm going to say FBA or I'm going to say freedmen. And when you say FBA or freedmen, that's a specific group, lineage based. So I'm with you on that, Valerie. And Michael has been working on that. So he probably knows really in depth how to deal with it. And the government, Valerie says, and the government should care about our tax dollars too. No, they do care about our tax dollars, especially when it's tax time. That's been the whole premise of the integration. They realize that black green dollars are just as good as white green dollars. And that was one of the reasons integration was allowed. And you have these Negroes out here that think, I'm the first black person in my neighborhood. I'm the first this. I'm the first that. Mental anguish. You know what I mean? I'm the first in the neighborhood. So what? How does that help anybody but yourself? So back to my friend, he's boule. See, so he's worried about what he's going to lose. Not concerned about what the majority of us have already lost. And I'm going to get to Jasmine Crockett and show you guys something. And I keep trying to tell you guys, look at their record. Look at the paperwork. She sounds great. Oh, yeah, child. F him. Go screw himself. Man, these Democrats sound like they are from the streets now. I mean, uncouth. Right? Valerie says the CBC trying to give FBE reparations to all minorities when it's lineage only. Yeah, but the thing is, they have been giving reparations, but there was no study. You're an illegal person. They give you money, no study. Afghans come here, no study. Asians got their descendants, even the Asians that weren't even interned, their descendants got reparations. But they're saying that we're not slaves, so why should we get reparation? We were never slaves. But yet that Asian kid whose grandfather died, but the grandfather was interned, he got reparations. We can go on and on and on about this, okay? So what I want to show you guys real quick is this. So stand by here. Okay, I'm going to go here. Is this right? Yeah, there we go. I'm going to go here, and I want to go here. Okay? All right. This is Miss Jasmine Crockett. All right? It gives you this old great thing. Look, ain't she cute with her little braids and everything? See, she looks the part. Oh, sister girl, Afrocentric. And I love her braids. I do. I love her braids. She looks the part. She's Afrocentric. Go ahead, girl. Yes. 2 snaps, girl, sister girl. She looks great, right? They give her whole background, you know. She's a and earned her BA in business administration from Rhodes College and her JD from the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and federal courts. You know, she is so awesome to up until herself. Um, you know, does all these great things. You know, she's just the business, right? Okay, that's great. We wait. Matter of fact, let's give her a round of applause. Yes, but that mouth, I couldn't deal with her. I couldn't deal with her at all. That mouth is too much. So I tell you guys, go to these Black congressional members' government page. This is crockett.house.gov. Okay. Here's some of the issues she wants to champion. Okay. The economy and job housing, voting rights. Throughout history and on great display at the turn of the decade, Texas has proven itself a regressive home for voter access. Criminal justice. The pursuit of justice is ongoing and always will be, which is why Congresswoman Crockett is eager to find legislative solutions that will uplift all. Okay, education, energy and climate, equality. Amidst an extremist Supreme Court majority, Congresswoman Crockett is determined to file and pass safeguards for the rights of LGBTQIA plus community, specific group that she is championing. But the people that put her in that seat, I would damn sure bet my dog, are Black people, but she specifically is championing equality for LGBTQIA. Reproductive justice. While Texas works to ban and criminalize reproductive care, Congresswoman Crockett pushes for federal legislation to protect the freedom and health of all women. Aborting your children is not reproductive. It's regressive. It's not a positive, it's a negative. You're not adding to the population, you're taking from the population. Madness. And she's an educated woman. You guys see how this works here? Okay. Extreme weather and disaster preparedness, all this other stuff, right? So as you go through her thing, well, I want to see what she says about veterans, right? Yes, you notice there's no, here it is right here. Look, they moved the veterans over on this side. Home to over 1 million veterans, Texas is central to Veterans Affairs. Very generic. Immigration, sharing over 1,000 miles of border with Mexico. Texas is a border state like no other in the country. Let's see if she talks about specifics. More on immigration. Crockett and Espeleta co-lead bicameral legislation to protect sensitive locations from ICE raids. She co-sponsored a bill to protect sensitive locations from raids, to protect illegals. Crockett introduces amendment to protect Texans from Operation Lone Star. Okay, deadly car chases. Okay, that's a big deal. Crockett joins Castro-led letter with Texas Democrats, Hispanic caucus members, urging Justice Department to block Texas Show Me Your Papers law. Crockett and Cesar lead Texas Dems in letter to DOJ calling for federal oversight of Operation Lone Star. Crockett introduces legislation to create an office of colonialists and farm worker initiatives. Resources for Americans in Israel and Gaza. She responding to escalating attacks by Hamas on civilians. Congresswoman Crockett statement on today's failure to pass continuing resolution to prevent government shutdown. Okay, did you guys notice she is championing LGBTQ, illegal immigration, and obstructing the federal government from doing their job? Okay, I just want you guys to, just to be familiar with that. Okay, but what I want to deal with is Wait. Her media. What she has done so far. It's here. I just had it the other. Wait, about committees and caucuses. Okay, let's look at her committee and caucuses. She's on the Democratic Women's Caucus. She's on the Congressional Black Caucus. She's on the Congressional Progressive Caucus. What a joke. She's on the Pro-Choice Caucus, so she's for deleting and aborting your children. Equality Caucus, which is the LGBTQ stuff. Let's see, what else is she on? Diabetic Caucus, Sustain Energy, Ukrainian Caucus, the Black Women and Girls Caucus, Congressional Voting Rights Caucus, Black Maternal Health Caucus, Congressional Labor Caucus, Artificial Intelligence Caucus. Now that's a joke. Intelligence? Aerospace? Democratic Faith Working Group? Notice none of those things that she is on, it's obviously she's a feminist, and there's nothing wrong with being a feminist, but it kind of shows she's like anti-Black man. And that's something that, my personal opinion, I think is a problem with Jasmine Crockett. You know, she's championing women's rights, and I have no problem with that because only women should be championing women's rights. However, you're a Black woman first. First word Black, like I'm a Black man first. So we should be putting Black issues in the forefront. Anything that benefits Black benefits men and women of the Black race. So I want to show you guys this. This Congress just started. Let me show you what she has been voting on in this brand new Congress. Here it is. H.R. 35, Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act. Don't have a problem with it, but notice something. Raul Gonzalez. Okay. H.R. 77, the Midnight Rules Relief Act. Resolution 122, providing for consideration of the bill, the Midnight Rules Act, Rules Relief Act. HR 122, providing consideration. Okay, yeah, whatever. So this is what she's done so far. I got a question for you guys. If I'm a congressman and I'm a Black person and I'm so sister girlish and I'm so pro-Black, fellas, stand up, and all that other stuff, why would I give a shit about this? Shouldn't I have, at the start of this Congress, introduced reparations, Black this, Black voting? Shouldn't I have put up what we've been fighting for the last 60 years? That should be the first things up there, and everything else can follow. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? So let me get back here. Okay, I'm back here. No, I want to be removed. Don't remove me. Let me stop sharing that. Okay. Yvette Carnell is about to come on. So, hey, Miss Beverly, how are you? Beverly White is on the channel. Thunder's on the channel. I mean, this is what I've been telling you guys. Always go and check their paperwork. That will tell you what they're really about and what they're on. Michael Pan says Jasmine Crockett is against universal basic income, cash payment, reparations for Black Americans, freedmen, and chattel slavery, Medicare for all, free public higher education, advanced vocational training. So what does that tell you, Michael? She looks Black, she acts Black, but she's actually anti-Black, right? So again, check the paperwork. So Demetra says, facts, seeing Margaret Sanger isn't reproductive at all, right? Michael says, Donovan, how would you assess my progress understanding for Black American freedmen and chattel slavery and demanding cash payment reparations for this group? You've come a long way. And again, I applaud the fact that you have listened to what we have been saying, and you applied your logic to it to where you're saying, yeah, this doesn't make sense, but this does. This is not fair versus that. All Black people are asking for is to be treated fairly. If you don't want to give reparations to nobody, then don't give it to nobody. But don't give it to one group and then for whatever reasons, this group doesn't get it. It's called equity. You have to be fair across the board. So I'm going to skip down real quick. Thunder says, a question, Donovan, is it safe to assume that the Democrats still haven't learned about disregarding FBAs? No. And that's where I was going with this. They haven't learned a damn thing, which is why I think they need to learn more of the lesson by losing the midterms and losing more numbers, because all they respect is money and power. Politics is power, nothing more. Nothing more. Look at the difference. You guys are aware that the majority of Donald Trump's executive orders are going to be overturned. They're going to be like, nope, unconstitutional, unconstitutional, unconstitutional. He knows that. But his base sees that he is trying to keep his promises. It's not Donald Trump's fault that the Supreme Court rules it unconstitutional. Donald Trump might go down as the most popular president in American history, believe it or not, because of all the things that he has gone through, and he has still stood 10 toes down on what he said. Donald Trump reminds me of Andrew Jackson. Highly racist, highly combative. You know, Donald Trump was in the military, but Andrew Jackson dueled people and killed them that disagreed with him or whatever and insulted him or whatever. Donald Trump reminds me a lot of Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, if you look at the history of Andrew Jackson, he would make treaties with the Indians and then break them and didn't give a damn. He would like get them all comfortable. We're going to make a treaty with you. Don't worry. We're going to keep our word. You could stay over here. Then they find gold or something on the Indian land. Then he sends in the troops and moves them off of it. Totally disregards the treaties. That's what Donald Trump reminds me of. Andrew Jackson. And Andrew Jackson in his time was a populist. Andrew Jackson opened the White House to the common American person. You got to remember, the way our elections are set up, that's why we have the Electoral College, because they did not want the average American Joe Sixpack deciding who is going to lead this country. Thus, we have the Electoral College that overrides everything. And they choose these people, whoever they are. And Andrew Jackson, basically, I mean, go, if you guys are interested, go look up Andrew Jackson in his times. He was a very combative president with his party and all of that. I mean, he wasn't having none of this. You know what I mean? None of the foolishness, none of it. I mean, he would be beating people up, killing people. Very, very Donald Trumpish, you know, just my way or the highway. Look up Andrew Jackson and on another show, or email me, text me, and tell me if you do not see the parallels. You know, Valerie says Democrats like using a black face on their programs that don't benefit. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to unmask. So back to my friend, do you see how he keeps saying I should use my platform, right? No. Why don't you make your own platform? Why is it that you, who believe whatever it is you believe, don't want to show your face and put your name out there? I'm putting my name out there. I'm putting my face out there. And then you don't even have to show your face if you know how to do social media. You could put up a meme and just talk, and put those ideas out there. Whenever somebody tells me I need to do this and do that, you know, do this. No, I'm a grown ass man. No, I'm not going to do that. I do my platform the way I do it. Is there discrimination in the United States? Is there racism in the United States? Yeah, it's the United States. What's changed? What's changed? Of all of these federal workers that are being fired, most of them are white. Black people don't make up a big number of the federal civilian workforce. We don't. You know what? Let me look it up right now. Let's see. Like I said, all this stuff people could use. The amount of black people who work for the federal government as civilians. It says right here, 18.2% of black people that work for the federal government is black. 61% of federal government workforce identifies as white. 61% of the federal workforce identifies as white. You can Google this stuff. Smartphones. 18% of the federal workforce is black. Okay, let's say they are targeting black people in the federal government based on those numbers. So what? So what? What's new? What's changed? What's changed? Remember, I'm the first nigger in my neighborhood. I'm the first one that moved out here. What's changed? I am glad Donald Trump is in office because people are waking up and they're seeing what's going on. The Democratic Party's sole existence now is to oppose Donald Trump. Why the hell would you be against a man that wants to abolish the IRS? Why would you be against that? Not saying it's going to happen, but ask yourself, why would you be against a man that wants to abolish the IRS? Why would you be against a person who wants to get men out of women's sports? Why would you be against a man that wants to give you $5,000 of your own money back? Do you mean to tell me the Republicans are so evil that we shouldn't accept anything from them? But yet, on Inauguration Day, I saw Democrats and Republicans laughing and kikiing up and shaking each other's hand and patting each other's on the back and congratulating each other and giving, fond goodbyes as the new administration takes place. But they're telling us, the American people, that this is so damn evil, you shouldn't even deal with it if you can shake a stick at it. No. If you've got something to say, see, remember I told you guys the other day, what really bothers me are these men that keep talking about how afraid they are. If you're afraid, you shouldn't be walking among men. I'm not all that. Trust me, I'm not. However, I'm not afraid. Like I said, in California, we have a lot of homeless people here. When I see a homeless person, I look at them and I say, you know what? That person is closer to God than I am, because the mere fact that he has nothing on this earth keeping him here, his desire to stay here, all he has to do is go and meet Jesus. Remember the parable that Jesus was saying of the Jesus and the rich man? The rich man was so enamored with Jesus, and he was like, I want to follow you. I want to be a disciple. What do I need to do? And Jesus told him simply, sell all of your worldly belongings, give all your money away, and just follow me. And the look on the rich man's face, because he knew he couldn't do that, and he went away from Jesus, and he was never seen again. Yeah, that's our problem in the world. We are so in love with material things. That's why you've got these prosperity preachers talking about, yeah, when you get to heaven, you're going to have a mansion. When you get to heaven, you're going to have that Mercedes. When you get to heaven, you're going to have a Learjet. If you make it to heaven, if you make it, because not everybody's going to heaven. If you make it to heaven, why would you need a house? Why would you need a car? Ask yourself this. If heaven is anything like earth, why the fuck would you want to go? Yes, I said it. I don't monetize my channel, so I don't give a damn. If heaven is anything like this, I don't want to go. You guys remember the Twilight Zone and Sebastian Cabot? I love the Twilight Zone because they had so many messages in that show. The original Rod Serling, the 1959. I even got the book of all the episodes. But remember the guy was like, he thought he went to heaven because he was winning. He had the women, he was G'd up because he had been a bum all his life on earth. He'd just been a hard luck guy and never got a break. So now, he thinks he's in heaven and stuff. And he's like, because he was a petty criminal. He's like, this isn't fun anymore. I want to go where, I want to do a crime. I want to be me. And he goes to what he thinks is his handler, his guardian angel. And he goes, yeah, I think I'd be better in the other place. And then his guardian angel, Sebastian Cabot from what's that? Family Affair. That was a great show. Says, this is the other place. Mm, mm, mm. Michael says, Donovan, forget about Democrats because they don't care about paying cash payment reparations to Black American freedmen of chattel slavery. How about for voting for green, red, and independent? Exactly. But see, Michael, here's the thing. I have to concentrate on Democrats to wake my people up. The more people that walk away from the Democratic Party, the less power the Democratic Party has, as we saw in this last election. It was that 30% of the Black vote that walked away that cost Kamala Harris the election. So I have to concentrate on Democrats because that's the majority of who Black people vote for. Thunder says, I have a theory. Where are her people from? Looks like we need to check some paperwork. Right. Is she a first generation American? More Thread Store says, hey, Donovan, I'm so glad you did something on her. I've been looking up a lot about her lately, and she is definitely not all she's cracked up to be. And that's what I've been telling people. She sounds good. She looks good. But go look at her paperwork. Now, that's just her homepage for this congressional session. You can go to, I think it's congress.org, and you can see her whole record from the time that she's been in to what she's been voting for. And I'll bet my dog she hasn't proposed anything for Black people. How many of her constituents know that? But yet they keep voting for her. Now, Maxine Waters, in this last election, if you guys don't know, she won her reelection. 66% of the Hispanic vote voted for Maxine Waters. She only got like 28, 30 something percent of the Black vote because there's not that many Black people left in her district. People say, well, she must be doing good if the Hispanics are voting for her. Use your basic logic. If you've got somebody that is going to do the Hispanic agenda, do you really care what their color is? As long as she's doing for the Hispanics, they're going to keep her in there. And of course, she's eventually going to pass away, but they're going to keep her in there as long as she doesn't rock the boat and she's doing for them. Why would you get rid of a person like that? So she doesn't work for Black people anymore. Maxine Waters has not worked for Black people probably in the last 12 years. Maybe, yeah, about 9 to 12 years. She hasn't worked for Black people in a long time. Demetrius says, oh, you're talking to Thunder. 2 less years. Yeah. Let's see. Thunder, the last action hero of the presidents. Yeah, I mean, go look up Andrew Jackson. He was a motherfucker, that guy. Michelle W., good to see you, ma'am. Trump is about to decimate the federal government. Yes, bad workers should be let go, but they are getting rid of good employees with good performance appraisals. I regret that I voted for him. Yes, I get it, Michelle, but the thing is, unfortunately, have you heard of this thing called collateral damage? Collateral damage. So I'm a military person. I drop a bomb on a military installation, right? And unfortunately, the bomb goes somewhere and it hits a hospital, collateral damage. Unfortunately, the unaffected consequences of what you're doing, it happens. Like I said, those people that are Democrats, I know a lot of Democrats that ain't gay. They didn't vote for the gay agenda. And you guys saw Jasmine Crockett. She's specifically for them. I can almost guarantee you the majority of people that voted for her, they ain't gay. Why would they want to champion in that and they're not gay? But that's a direct result of their vote. I didn't vote for illegal immigration. A lot of Democrats that I know did not vote for illegal immigration, but a lot of Democratic representatives are doing it. That is a collateral damage of a vote that you had nothing to do with. That wasn't your intended idea when you voted, right? That's not your fault. That's the Democratic policy that they never told you about. Isn't that strange? No, we all know not all federal government workers are slackers, like some like to believe. They are talking about the federal workers in DC who a lot of them do not do their jobs, right? And that's the thing, Michelle. I have a bleeding heart. Most of my friends work for the federal government. My mom was a federal government worker. I was a federal government being in the military worker, right? But you're not guaranteed a job. It's inevitable. You are not entitled to a job. Nowhere. Unless you are the owner. You are not entitled to a job. It's unfortunate. Right now, because the Democrats artificially inflated the economy by pumping money into the economy, and if you take in micro and macroeconomics, this is part of that. They inflated the economy, right, to hide the fact that the economy wasn't what it really was. And now the economy is shrinking back to what it actually is, right? You're not bloating it like the Democrats were doing by flooding and printing all of this money and putting it into circulation. What Trump is doing, and it's going to be natural when a lot of money isn't popped into it, it's going to shrink, right? And then it's going to show you its true form. And we are actually going to see where we're at. A lot of economists have been saying we have been in a recession since 2019 and we've never come out of it. You keep giving money, people keep hiring all these people, and the government just keeps throwing all this money out there, billions of dollars. Then Trump comes in, or anybody would come in, turns off the water tap. Boop, everything's exposed. The true economy is exposed. Everything is going up and whatever. I mean, that's just how it works. That's, it's a thing. I don't want to see anybody lose their job that don't deserve to lose their job. Unfortunately, it happens. But guess what? They're going to be okay. Life goes on. When I retired from the military, I thought I was so good in the damn military. The military going, if I leave, it's over. 13 years later, the military is still going on without me. We can't get into the mindset that we are entitled to a job. That's the wrong mindset. It's just like Black people have got into the mindset that we don't live in racism. Do you see what I'm saying, Michelle? Sister, I swear, I'm with you. I'm with you. I get it. I understand what you're saying. However, ask yourself this. Why is it that those few federal workers that are taking advantage of the system, why is it that the impression is that they're all like that? Why is that? How did it get to that? Those are the questions I think we should be asking ourselves. How did it get like that? It's like the welfare queen, right? Everybody knows there are more white women and white people on welfare, but yet when they talk about welfare queens, they point out the Black woman. Why is that? When there's the biggest group of people on welfare are white people. You see what I'm saying? We can't forget these things. We can't. And a person who is good at their job, they shouldn't have anything to worry about. Because There's a great movie, Michelle. I'm not sure how old you are, but it's a great movie. It stars Michael Keaton, and it's directed by Ron Howard, and it talks about the American worker. It's called Gung Ho. If you ever seen that movie, go look that movie. It's one of my favorite movies because it talks about the attitude of the American worker and how we think we're the greatest, and we're entitled to this. Nobody's better than us, and we're than this, that, right? Japan was kicking our ass, and there was something that there was a soliloquy that Michael Keaton said in the movie, and he said, "They're kicking our asses, and that ain't luck." And it's true, and it's true. Because these guys were like, oh, they're all in the union hall. Oh, nobody's better than us. Who's better than us? Nobody's better than us. But they didn't want to work unless they got $15 an hour. Now, remember, the plant was closed. The plant was closed, but they demanded $15 an hour, in the early 80s when the movie was made. That was a lot of money. But $15 an hour. And they wanted all these concessions. They wanted days off. And you're like, wait a minute. That isn't how business works. Go see that movie, Michelle. It's one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies. It's funny. It's based. He goes to Japan to get the job. As I was raised in Japan, to go, bring these people over. It's one of the funny. How many of you guys have seen that movie, Gung Ho? If you've seen that movie, classic movie. They're building cars, and he had to make a certain number, and it's. I don't want to give it away. Go see that movie. Michael. Yes, your average logical thinker. Yeah. Tiffany Henyard. I told you guys yesterday she was going to get blown out, and she got blown out. But see, your average logical thinker. Here's the sad thing about that election. Only 25% of the people who could have voted. That's a town of 20,000 people. I think they've got 16,000 people registered to vote. And there was only about 5,000 votes cast. So the majority of the people didn't give a damn. Damon Reeves, salute, brother. Salute, my fellow brother. Michael, you're typing too fast. Slow down. Donovan, what did you mean when you said, brothers and sisters, please consider studying medicine in Cuba for free due to student loan debt? What I meant by that is, rather than going into perpetual lifetime debt, why not just go to Cuba and let them train you for free? Good example, me becoming a pilot, right? And getting flight training. Is it cheaper that I pay out of my pocket or let the military train me? What would you do? Do you know how much it costs to become a ATP pilot? Airline pilot, basically. Federal, there's different levels of it. The average cost of a pilot, I think now it's gone up a little bit more, but I'm just going to give you, when I was going through, $250,000 to get to your ATP rating so you can fly for the airlines. $250,000. As an average Black person who comes from average beginnings, where am I going to get $250,000? And then remember, you're training. So you could be washed out, you could be medically hurt, and you just took all this loan out to become an ATP pilot. And that was back, 20-something years ago. So to become a pilot in the military, they spend about $2 million because you got to learn other things. You got to go to SEER school. There's other military things you got to learn. It's about $2 million for 2 years, and you've got to train for 2 years. I don't have $2 million. So if you want to become a doctor and that's your passion, that's what you really want to do. And I told you, well, you can go to Cuba and they'll train you to be a doctor for free. What would you do? What would you do? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. When things are free, to me, it tastes great in a lot of situations. It rides great when it's free, right? If free wasn't so good, Michael, if free wasn't so good, Why is it, myself included, if I could get some free food stamps, I would take them. Free is great. Free is great, man. Valerie says Democrats have placed migrants, illegals in front of us. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people are seeing this. And Valerie, I'm glad, because now that the outrage against Donald Trump is dying out and people are living and accepting the fact that for the next 4 years, this is going to be the guy and they've got to adjust. These next 4 years, the Democrats are going to have to show and prove. And if they don't, more people are going to fall off. And you got to remember that civil rights generation, they're passing away every day. Michael says, correction, Donovan, what did you mean when you said brothers and sisters, please consider studying medicine, keep it free due to that? Okay, I explained that one. And by the way, you guys, if you guys got a website, again, go to your average logical thinker. She had to go. She had some other stuff she had to do. She had a dental appointment today. I had a dental appointment yesterday. And I woke up and I heard your voice on my TV because I sleep with my TV early in the morning on. And I heard your voice and I was like, okay, cool. And you were talking some really good stuff. So you guys go subscribe, like, share your average logical thinker. Whenever I go on people's pages, and you guys know I'm a political person and I've been on here for a long time. I have a lot of groups that I'm a member of. I always share your videos to those groups because your average logical thinker, she's like a more of a normal type person. She talks about relationships, TV shows, things like that. Your average logical thinker, and I hate that you did this to me. I was watching your video one day, and it was a long time ago, and it was about something basketball wives, one of those wives shows, Potomac or whatever. I know you heard today that one lady, she's going to jail for 2 years. I think a year in jail and a year of probation, or whatever it was. I think it's probation or whatever, but she got involved with that drunk driving thing. And she's one of those snooty black women. She kind of looks kind of scary, but she has a really fucked up attitude. Like her shit don't stink. And she had to go to jail today. Once the judge let her have it, she'll be in there for a year. And fellas, I don't usually do this, but it's your average logical thinker's fault because, I was like, what is she talking about? And I went to check it out. And I just saw this, they got some really nice women on that show, of course. And I'm thinking, wow, these people are so damn out of touch because, they're so real. And this particular lady, she has another DUI. It's her 4th DUI. She said it was 2, I believe, but they found out she had 4 DUIs. Could have killed somebody, right? And her attitude during that arrest video was unbelievable. She was talking to the white cop, talking about something like he's poor and this, that. She was drunk and on something out of her mind. And they convicted her today. This woman, instead of pleading the case to take another plea deal, she let it go to trial and she got convicted today. What a dumbass. Money can't always buy you intelligence. It really can't. Damon says, shit, I just want to make it to the bathroom. Yeah. Your avological thinker says, oh, trust heaven, ain't nothing like this Babylon. Talking to Damon, your avological thinker. Darius says, amen, amen, bro. Donovan Saadiq, be forever encouraged to consistently, unapologetically 10 toes down as a unique, rare, and exceptional African black man of the Most High. Yes, I mean, I got nothing to lose. I'm black. I'm a black man, so I'm definitely a threat. I'm in America. I live in an older section of my city. I don't live in the ghetto, but California, if you live in California, you're damn near a millionaire. But the point is, not a lot of black people here. But the mere fact that I'm a veteran, I think not that I get a pass, but it's hard for people to tell me to shut the fuck up when I've picked up a gun and went out there and did the job. I'm not saying it makes me better than anybody else. If you didn't serve in the military, that's no shame on you because the military is not for everybody. Everybody has a role in the world. And all I'm saying is a veteran, even when they're wrong and they're rednecks and they're racist, you can't take away the fact that they were willing to put their life down to defend everybody else's rights and what they believe. So you got to give it to that. So I think the mere fact that I do that, because here in my city, they have a hard time dealing with me for the simple fact that not only am I an elder of the city, I predate the city because the city didn't come into existence until 1984. I was stationed at the base. I predate the city. I'm still here. You know, it's hard to attack a veteran. It really is. It's hard to attack a veteran. I'm not homeless. I'm not a homeless veteran. It's hard to attack a veteran. Like right now, I'm doing this show right now. My city is watching this right now. That shows you how much power and influence you can have in your community if you would just participate. Tiffany Henyard, 16,000 registered voters, only about 5,000 people voted. Doesn't make sense. It's kind of like people who get passports, but they never go anywhere. What's the point of that? Why get a passport if you're not going to use it? You know what I mean? And I got a lot of friends that are like that. Yeah, I got my passport, but you don't go anywhere. So anyway, Miss Tiffany, I like Donovan's lives. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. I appreciate that. Damon says FBA has left the Democratic plantation. Yes, we have. Michael says Maxine Waters out of touch with today's millennials, Zoomers, and some Generation Xers. Again, Michael, have you seen the Democratic opposition to Donald Trump? These are all crypt keepers. These guys come from the 60s and Maxine Waters' silent generation. These are the people that are going to fight in the 21st century. That's like Buck Rogers with a laser gun using against people who have muskets. That's the way I look at it. When I saw that Democratic mob out there and who was leading them, it was like looking at somebody who had a musket against somebody who had a machine gun laser gun. Crazy. Valerie says Waters has never done anything for her district when it was FB. Yeah, I remember when she first got elected, she said she's going to go get us reparations. We're still waiting. Michelle says, I enjoy your live, Donovan. I hope you do them more often. I'm going to try because, again, you know, and I piss off more of my friends that are Black like me that are 10 toes down for the status quo. Ask yourself, what is the status quo? So I'm supposed to continue to vote for nothing, for other people being put in front of me, other groups getting money, cash, homes, all this other stuff. These people are fighting 10 toes down to continue the status quo. The status quo in America for Black people is to keep Black people at the bottom. Why would I fight for that? Why would I fight to continue to have Black people stay at the bottom of a system that was never made for us? I will never understand that. I will never understand it. Never understand it. Yeah, you have a lot to go think about, Thunder. Yes, I'm proud of the citizen. He has to be. Yeah. Michael says, Donovan, a Republican state assembly member in California has decided to introduce cash payment reparations without additional studies. Are you surprised? No, but again, it's a study. We don't want no damn study. We don't want it. Oh, no. I should say that the cash payment part, it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy because, okay, you put it on the floor. Great. Let's just say hypothetically, because you know, you've got Hispanics and Asians that don't want Black people to get reparations, even though it would be cheaper to pay Black people reparations here in California than it is to fund migrants, illegal migrants. You got money for illegal migrants, but you don't have money for Black American citizens? Doesn't make sense. Gavin Newsom's going to veto it. See, they're playing political games. They've already shown us what this is about. It's a waste of our time, you know? So let's see. Michael, slow down. FBA, Valerie says, FBA, no, we live in a racist country. It's other people of color that don't know that. Exactly. But, you know, nothing against the civil rights era gang, but a lot of them they don't want to disrupt the boat. Because they're on their way out. They want to, they want to just be comfortable as they transition to be with sweet Jesus. They want to just go nice and calm, and nothing really going on over there. So Valerie says, just like deportation isn't racist, it's legal versus illegal, right? Michelle says, I understand he wants to reduce the federal government, but he doesn't have a method to what he is doing. Elon is who is running the federal government. Can't share on here what is really going on. Yeah, no, I know, Michelle, I get that, but again, if you're a federal worker, you fall under the executive branch. If he just said everybody has to go today, it has to be done. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no set situation. And see, this is the problem, Michelle. It just popped in my head. Would this be an issue if the Democrats had ran a better candidate and had done what they said they were going to do? It's easy to blame Donald Trump, right? But I don't give a damn about what Donald Trump is going to do. I have to hold the Democrats responsible. Would it be an issue if the Democrats had given Black people reparations? Right now, ask yourself this. If Black people would get their reparations, you'd have Black people for the rest of your life. They would never lose another election again. But the Democratic Party is just as racist as the Republican Party. If the Democrats had given everybody student loan forgiveness, do you think Donald Trump would be in office right now? White people are 50-50. See, so it isn't the white vote that's going to determine who sits in the White House. It's the Black vote. If he had given student loan forgiveness and kept his promise, would Donald Trump be a factor right now? If he had done a task force on policing, a federal task force on policing, would Donald Trump be an issue? If he had done the $2,500 what do you call it, stimulus thing like he was supposed to, rather than taking away $600, would this be an issue right now? Who was running the government for the last 4 years? The Democratic Party has been lying to the American people. Yeah, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't care for him. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. You're not a Donald Trump supporter. Most of us people, we're not Donald Trump supporters. But we've got to put the blame where the blame belongs. When I'll give you another example. My mom used to say this all the time. And hey, Cooking with Miss D, and maybe you guys parents said the same thing. If I'm out there with my friends and my friends do something stupid, but we're all together, my mom doesn't want to hear about what my friends did. She wants to hear about what I did. Why are we trying to blame the Republicans, which is mind control? See, that's what I'm saying, our emotions, when we should be blaming the very people who were in power for 2 years. The Democrats had the House and the Senate and the presidency. And what did they do with it? Well, yeah, forget the reparations. We're not going to get to that. Forget that. The task force, we're not going to be able to do that. Bullshit. Let's put the onus on who the onus belongs to. If democracy is in such repair and this man is a Hitler, why are you running Kamala Harris? If our lives are in danger, why are you running Kamala Harris as the nominee? I'm trying to figure that out. What, are we supposed to blame the Republicans that the Democrats ran Kamala Harris? It just doesn't, the way I look at things, I guess maybe I look at it a little bit different. It's just, I don't worry about the Republicans because Black people don't vote Republican. A third of us possibly are going to start, I guess. We're going to vote different than Democrat. We know that. But, we can't put this onus on Donald Trump. He is doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he ran. And again, we saw the rise of the oligarchs. We saw this. The Democrats saw the rise of the oligarchs and they did nothing about it. Your avological thinker, I saw that. Those numbers were horrible. Yeah, just horrible. The man got almost 90% of 5,000 votes. She got like 500 and something votes. Pitiful, pitiful. So, full-blooded Nika, who's to say you've made the right vote? You don't know if you're wrong or right. People vote with their feelings. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I don't vote with my feelings. I vote with my wallet. That's how I vote. And I think everybody should vote that way. Michelle says they are judging the federal workers outside of DC as if we behave like the ones in DC, and it's not right. Good, hardworking people are losing their jobs. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, Michelle, you're in their mid-50s. You don't look it. You don't sound it. You don't read it like that. But yeah, I'm a praying man. I'm a praying man, and when in the 90s, when they went through the base closures and they cut the military drastically, all these things were happening. It was a scary time, but for me, I can only speak for myself. My faith is in God. My faith isn't in man. I don't depend on a man. If push comes to shove, I ain't depending on no man to provide for me. Thank God I made the right decisions and investments and stuff. But I will tell you this: when I retired from the military at 42, and see, this is the problem that we have in our country: the greed. Go watch Wall Street with Michael Douglas, Gordon Gekko. Greed is good. This is how they say it. Jesus loved the oligarch too. This is how they're preaching to people. That's why people have no problem with millionaires getting tax cuts, because one day they strive to be millionaires, right? I saw all these people chasing money, and they spend all their time chasing money, right? I spent 24 years of my life in the military, and I was born into the military. I was a military dependent. All my life, I'd been in the military. Didn't know anything other than the military. 24 years of my life, my youth, gone. Went to combat at 19 years old, Desert Storm, right? My youth is gone. I gave up my youth to serve the country. I'm not mad at anybody. That's something that I did, whatever. Okay. And after that experience, and I'm looking at people getting out of the military, retiring, and they go and get another job. Now, it's one thing if you love what you do. And I know a lot of pilots, that's our thing. We do this, and then we go do this and go get another job, go get another retirement, right? Because our parents did that. They left the military, they go do this. Everybody wants to work. But see, we've been programmed now to work until we're dead. Michelle, you're a young 50. You're in my age group. You're a young 50. And I'm going to be honest with you, Michelle. As attractive as you are right now, by the time you and your husband, if you're married, I don't know if you're married or not, by the time you and your husband finally say, we're done working, we're not doing anything anymore, we're retired for real, the real retirement. Nobody wants to see a 78-year-old Michelle in a two-piece bikini sitting on the beach in Hawaii. That's real. I'm not saying you don't have it. What I'm saying is, at 72 years old, you still might look good and you got your husband, so you don't got to worry about all that. But what I'm saying is, you won't be the prime Michelle you are right now. Right? So what I was saying when I was 42 and I'm seeing everybody go get other jobs, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of the military. I could put an application in with the airlines and do pretty much the same thing I was doing over here. But because I'm on the road, I lost, 2 marriages because I'm never home. Right? And I'm like, do I really want to go work for somebody and have somebody tell me as a grown ass man what to do, when to be at the job, whatever? How much money do I need to live? And I just made a decision for myself. F that. I don't care. I'm military trained. If I have to live in a tent and get my VA check, but I can travel the world and just backpack the world, that is my dream job. I can go where I want to go. I can do what I want to do. I'm my own man. Just travel the world and just live in hotels, and just go across bridges and learn different languages. That's living. To me, that's living. I'm not that old. I'm mature. I've got common sense. I've got worldly sense. I'm 42 years old. That's the life I want to live. And I started living that life. I really did. And, I still sort of live it. Now I got this dumb dog. I can't leave because the dog isn't trained right. Damn you, Benny. But the cats, you can leave the cats, but the dog, I can't leave my dog. But, when do we say enough is enough and we start living our lives? I'm not saying I don't care about my grandkids, but I don't care about my grandkids like that. They have parents. I don't have any grandkids yet. But what I'm saying is, I have never accepted the idea it is my job to raise my grandchildren. I've never accepted that. I have 2 sons, so maybe it's a little bit different. And my sons are men. Figure it out, Negro. I'll give you some advice. I'll help you out. Give you some advice, but I'm not gonna, Dad, can you give me $1,000 because I need so and so says, the kids need this, whatever. Nah, nigga, figure it out. I worked 2 jobs my whole time I was in the military. I always had a part-time job. Always had a part-time job. Always. Went to school while in the military. I didn't even get to experience the college, that college thing. When I see on the movies and stuff, I'm like, God, I wish I could have gone to college, like to be a full-time student. No, your average logical thinker, Michelle. You guys know how it is when you're on a Damon. You know how it is when you're on the post and you got to be to work between 7 and whatever. And if you do take classes on the base, it's with the older people. It doesn't have the same pop. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same pop. You're just like, oh my God, I got to be here. So, Michelle, I really do think they're going to be okay. People are going to be okay. Some people might not, again, the Bible says it. The Bible tells us how we're supposed to be living. When the famine comes, you're supposed to be buying what you need. Buy that house, buy that car. The famine's here. You know why? Because you saved up when everybody was living it up. You were the one that was saving. You were prepared for when something does happen. Now things are happening. So you're telling me everybody is not prepared? Let me check not you, Michelle, some of those federal employees that are good people. My brother's a federal employee. How many toys you got? How big is your house? Did you pay it off? Oh, you just bought that house 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Okay. No shame on that. Did you really need that RV? Oh, you got a boat that you and your wife go and hang out, whatever. And I'm not saying that makes them bad people. What I'm saying is we got to reevaluate ourselves. A lot of good people out there. There are good people out there. And unfortunately, sometimes God, and I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but sometimes God has to give us a reset. Like that rich man that Jesus talked to. Get rid of the RV. Get rid of this. Downsize. Reevaluate your life to fit the situation you're in. I would love to have my own private airplane. But I know fundamentally there's no way for me to do it. I mean, I could do it. But flying costs money. It costs a lot of money. And I don't want to dedicate money like that when I could be doing more tangible things that'll give me memories and I can enjoy a little bit more. Damon Reeves says the Democrats are toast. FB ain't drinking their Kool-Aid. Your Abdul Tinker says, thank you, Donna, for your support. You were my first super chat. Was I? Oh my gosh. Okay. Great. Oh, I'm so honored. Thank you very much. I'm glad. No, but you were spitting it out today. I really enjoyed it. Lady Diana, and she was on your chat too. Lady Diana was on there. I saw her. Hey, Donna Seek and family. Moni, my Detroit crush. Mike's Detroit love. My gorgeous brown sugar boo. Yes. Lady Diana says, love me some your average logical thinker. Yes. I mean, you were on fire, sister. I'm telling you, you got to keep going. What you need to do, and Demetria and I did this when she was here in California. We would do a video stream, and at the same time, we would do a live podcast. So we were doing two things at once. So if you're home, you could see us, talking. I put all the bells and whistles there. And then if you're in your car during traffic, you could go to the podcast and listen to us on your drive home or to work. So I would do two things at once. Your average continual. Yes, Karen Huger got 1 year of jail time. The justice system is saving someone's life because we know the drunkard all walks away with minor injuries and others die. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but just her arrogance was just, it was ugly. Oh, it was ugly. Michael Pence, Donovan, I understand that you want your sisters to be free of food stamps and marry the brothers. How are free food stamps different from free public higher education and advanced vocational training? Well, you need food to live as a human being. So that's number one. You could have all the education and books in the world, but you can't eat them. I mean, you could eat them, but it's not very nutritious. So food stamps is something that's essential, like water. These are things you got to have first. Education. Most of your billionaires and oligarchs, they're not even college graduates. So, all that higher education, it's a scam. It's a scam. I have 12 degrees, Michael. 12 degrees. I'm not working anywhere. I know a bunch of people that have degrees that aren't even working in the degree that they studied, right? So what's the point of it? You went to school, spent all that money to go to school to do something that you're passionate about, only to be told that the only jobs available are jobs that you weren't trained in, and you're going to have to pick up based on your own knowledge and experience. And next thing you know, you're in that vocation because you can't get into the vocation you were trained to get into. Yeah, Valerie, California needs ICE badly. Its migrants are filled. Yeah, this is Mexico. Valerie, we had a guy that was on the news last week. He's been deported over 10 times and he keeps coming back here. That's how porous it is to get into California. There was a guy, he was live streaming on YouTube, and he had just crossed the San Ysidro border, where your logical average logical thinker is from, San Diego, right there in San Ysidro, and was waiting for somebody to pick him up. He had just illegally crossed the border. Lady Diana, I married a Navy guy that was enough for me to give to the country, right? Hey, all you ladies that support the military and all you ladies that, give us those military babies, we salute you. We salute you. Wasn't for you guys, I don't think we would live another day. More Thread says, Donovan, you should consider visiting the Carolina. You would like certain parts, and of course the history. I think you may have been there before through the Air Force. Yeah, I've been all through the Carolina. I've been to every state in the United States. Yeah. Love Hilton Head, South Carolina, North Carolina, Cherry Point. My stepdad was stationed there. I've been everywhere. I've just been just about everywhere. I've been to every continent except Antarctica. Like I said, the military really, at taxpayer expense, made me see the world and didn't cost me anything. And the good thing is, you guys ever have those uncles that say, yeah, I've been over there, whatever. And he tells you all these stories, right? And there's no proof. There's no proof. Now, maybe, Aunt Matilda could say, yeah, he was in the Army and he was stationed over there, whatever, right? For me, I would always send my grandfather postcards, and then my nieces when they got my kids. Every time I would go to that base, it didn't matter if I went there 12 times. He got 12 things to let people know this is where I'm at. I was actually there. So there's the proof. So if you ever meet any members of my family and they say, oh yeah, Donovan's probably been there. Yeah, he's been there. He's done it. So like I said, the military ain't for everybody, but for me, it was a ends to a means, So Valerie says, what's the California trying to do another reparations bill? Yeah, it's the Democrats realize that they have to get that black vote back. That 30% that walked away, they have to win the midterms to help obstruct Donald Trump's agenda. Remember, they don't have the majority in the Senate or the House. So to have power, they're going to give black people hope again and say, yeah, well, maybe we'll get them, this time with this one, and, we'll get some more people to vote. It's not going to work. And that's what they don't realize. It's not going to work. Think about it. Ayanna Pressley reintroduced the reparations study. Only the Speaker of the House could bring a bill to the floor. The Democrats don't control the House. So how are they going to pass H.R. 40 to study reparations if you don't even have the power to bring the bill to the floor? You know why they do that? Because a majority of people do not understand politics and are not educated enough to understand that. They just think, well, my representative said they're going to do this, and oh yeah, we're going to vote and support them. Yay! But that isn't how it works. You're not in power. So guess what? Those of us that know, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's political theater at its best. Yanni says, we're kind of scared of our veterans here. Yeah. Well, again, one of the things that people are trying to put out there is, they're going to cut veterans benefits. Ain't going to happen. That is a wedge issue that they are using to scare people to concede other things. It's like Social Security, right? Everybody puts in the Social Security. Seniors, they want their Social Security. They put into it. They deserve it. They're not ever going to cut Social Security because you've got too many Americans that would be pissed off and will probably rise up. So when you talk about cutting veteran benefits, ain't going to happen. Now they can freeze our COLA, cost of living increases. That's one thing, but you can't take away from a veteran what you've already given them. That would affect too many veterans. Remember, these people are trained to kill. You can't take away. They know better than that. They know better. With 1 million veterans homeless, how much longer do you think military people are going to allow the disrespect of our veterans and sacrifice of our veterans to go on? You signed a contract that said you're going to do this, this, and this. If I made a career out of this or whatever, we're going to keep you to that contract. I can only speak for myself. I'm highly leveraged in weapons here, legally. So it's just a wedge issue, just to pull concessions from other things. So Donald Trump's going to bring that out, get everybody upset. And when you're upset, you don't think of anything else because you're in your feelings. You're not thinking logically. And so a majority of people in Congress have not served in the military. And they're going to, trust me, if they ever even attempted to do it, do you know how many phone calls and personal visits these representatives would get from their veteran constituents? It wouldn't even be pretty. It wouldn't even be pretty. But Donald Trump is doing that to get these people upset so that he can get concessions in other things. And that's all it's about. Think about this. They always talk about prescription medicine for seniors. Every election cycle. Have you guys ever wondered, when are they going to solve that? At the end of every election cycle, they say, yeah, we solved prescription medical costs. And then the next election happens, it's prescription medical costs. When are they going to solve that problem? And that's all it is. It's just an empty threat and something to run on. And that's all it is. So we're getting old here, you guys. Lady Diana said, I use mine, got to go get out of this country sometime. Yeah. I mean, and I was talking to my uncle yesterday. We were at a event, a talent show for my little cousins. And he was like, man, I thought you'd be in the Dominican Republic. I was like, got the dog, man. Once I get the dog. But yeah, I mean, God, if I can get out of here, I'd be gone, man. So I love that. You're avologically the same. I've lost a few friends over this nonsense. Yeah, and I always tell people, I'm not hurting for friends. I'm not hurting for friends at all. I'm going to be who I am going to be. You, do you know what's crazy? Your average logical thinker and Damon and those guys. I guess what it is, what my friends are shocked at the mere fact of when I was in the military, I was Captain USA. I think that's what's shocking them. Like Donovan was Captain USA. He was the template, of what to do and how to do it, being a black guy. And I wasn't like a bootlick black guy. I wasn't that. But I was like Captain USA because everybody knew, oh, he's a dependent. He's trapped. He knows the system. He knows what's going on. He was enlisted. He went into the officer side. Very knowledgeable guy, down to earth. And I think I'm still down to earth. But I was Captain USA. I was, I wasn't really technical. I hated first sergeants. Oh God, I hate first sergeants because they're not the first sergeants that used to take care of the troops. To me, the first sergeant position is just another senior enlisted position. That's all it is. I've seen so many first sergeants process the paperwork of good young troops because the troop made a mistake. And they just wanted to process them out of there. And I was like, aren't you going to fight for this guy? I'd be sitting in the commander's office and I would stand up for him because I was a former enlisted. I know, what they're going through. The first sergeant wouldn't say anything. I hate first sergeants. I hate them. I mean, I couldn't stand him. Would not stand up. I said, that's your job. Yes, he's in the wrong, but you're supposed to fight for him. Sad. The military is just totally different now. Full-blooded Nika says, brother, if you get caught in the wrong area, we'll see how many people actually care about your rights. Your rights mean nothing. Yeah, exactly. But I not only do I know karate and kung fu, I also know gung fu. And I'm not above exercising my Second Amendment rights. I'm not above that. So you have logical thinker, talking to Valerie. Valerie says Trump gave us Black history from 1770, unlike Biden that gave us us Bill Porter. Yeah, right. Exactly. Doge is coming for the Democrats. Yeah, and have you noticed that? They are so hard to fight Elon Musk and Doge and their corruption, and there's Republicans that are caught in that slush fund thing too, but they're smart enough to keep quiet. Why are they fighting so hard against Doge and auditing these departments? Ask yourself that. What's going on? Why are you fighting so hard against this? What are you trying to hide? More Thread says, I figured out that the Republicans are their only defense and deflection. They really can't say what Democrats have done, specifically for Black people. Right. And that's, like I said, good cop, bad cop. They have nothing to stand on. Would we be in this situation with Donald Trump if the Democrats had done what they said they were going to do? A majority of Donald Trump's executive orders are going to be overturned by the Supreme Court. But you know what? His people see that he was doing what he said he was going to do. And that's all people care about. Ronald Reagan said, it is best to get 60% of 100 than 0% of 100, paraphrasing. And this is what the Democrats should be doing. Get something. Don't come to me every year talking about what you can't do for me. And that's what they don't understand. Get something. I would rather get 20% of 100 than nothing of 100. Would you guys agree with that? But every election cycle, the Democrats, when it comes to Black people, come up with the donut. 0. Every election cycle. Valerie, talking to Michael. Jesus loves those that keep God's commandments. Yeah. Michelle says, I would never vote for a Democrat. I used to be a Republican, changed to independent about 20 years ago. Yeah, see, you got smart way before I did. When Obama left office and we didn't get nothing as Black people, that's when I left the Democratic Party. And I was unapologetic about it. But going back to me being Captain USA, I think what it is people are so shocked that as a civilian now, out of the military, I'm actually who I am. See, when you're in the military, If you got certain feelings and uh, biases, you got to suppress that stuff. You got to suppress it. Like I said, you see how people are so hard about being a Republican or a Democrat? When you're in the military, you got to suppress that stuff because you have to work for whoever's in office. It doesn't matter if you don't like him or not. It doesn't matter. You just got to do what you're told to do and keep it pushing. So I think a lot of my friends are just shocked and surprised that the real me is who I am. I went into the military at 17, right out of high school. Boom, I was in the military, right? So a lot of my high school friends, they just remember me to being this happy-go-lucky, just like them. Oh, I'm not paying attention to anything, whatever. But then life started hitting me when I was in the military, and the real world started hitting me. Boom, 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 boom. And now that I'm post-military, people are like, "Whoa, we didn't know Donovan was like that. What do you mean he's an independent? What do you mean he's not a Democrat? Whoa, he's right thinking." No, I'm not right thinking. I'm independent thinking. There's some things the Democrats do I like. Some things the Republicans I do that I like. Damn, if you're a communist and you want to give black people reparations, I'm for you. You know? And I think that's the problem. The people are shocked because they didn't really know the real me. They knew me as a child, but as an adult, they don't understand where I'm at because now I'm not subjected to anything the government has to say. I'm an individual now. Darius says, "Amen, bro. Saadiq, give you his due praise. You're gonna be all right, my brother, because you're wisely rock and rolling with the best. Yes, when with you guys got. I hope you guys got my back. I'm very sure you guys got my back. It'll be good, but don't want to keep you guys too much longer. You're a logical thinker. Amen. Figure it out. That's what I say to my 30-year-old baby bro now. Figure it out. It's really helping him. Yeah. Thunder. So 3 weeks in Western Europe and sailing the Mediterranean was one of the best times of my life. I can't wait to get back. That's what I'm saying. And think about it, Thunder. In America, would you have had the finances? I'm sure you probably would have eventually, but to do that at such a young age and experience those things at a young age. Your average logical thinker, she was living at the equator in a little bayat known as Diego Garcia. Beautiful sand beaches, everything provided. She's a female on an island full of men. She could have her pick. That's why I hated that island. God, I hated it. And I was on that island for a year, and it was rough sailing for a dude, man. It was rough sailing for a dude. It was rough. But I'm telling you, your average logical thinker, she was living her best life. I have no doubt. No doubt. She was at the GI Club, 61 Club or whatever it was. When I was there, it probably wasn't there when you were there, but man, we used to just rock out at the NCO Club and the clubs up there on the Navy side. So good times, like I said, and the military provided those things for a lot of people. Thunder said, "I love my sisters, but gentlemen, the dark-skinned, dark curly-haired ladies of the southern Sicily, the food, oh my gosh." Thunder, I flew into Sigonella, Italy on a C5, right? I was flying a C5 and we flew in. And you know how customs comes out? There was this beautiful Italian customs agent, green eyes. Oh my God. As soon as we dropped the door and she walked up, you're like, you just couldn't help. The woman was gorgeous, gorgeous. And then, when you're a brother in Europe, yeah, life is good. Life is good. Germany, the Furloins, they buy you drinks. I was in Spangdahlem. Man. Mm, mm, mm. God, you guys make me want to go get my photo album. You're a logical thinker. Okay, I'm listening. Thank you, Donovan. Yeah. Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. Maybe occasionally, possibly on a leap year. Just kidding. Content. No, but I love my sisters, man. Look, them sisters. Okay, wait. True story. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I flew into Panama for the first time. My best friend was Panamanian. We used to call her in high school Deka from Jamaica. Love her to death. She's like a sister. My mom and her mom worked together. We were like family. So I go to Panama for the first time. And it's an open base, of course. And I just see there isn't a fellas, there is not an ugly woman in the country, okay? In Panama, there's not an ugly woman. Even the older women look good. Seriously, I'm not joking. So you had the bases there. You had Howard Air Force Base, you had Albrook, and you had Fort Kobe, and you had a little Navy station that was there, and all kinds of stuff was going on back in the day. And the black women, I was going to the chow hall. We were supposed to fly that morning, and we were flying down to Peru or someplace. And I went to the chow hall, and you see the sisters that are working in the chow hall, and they just got this scowl on their face, right? And they hate Panama. They just hate being there. And I was like, you look at them, you're like, golly, it's 5 in the morning and you're already pissed off. And I say, what's wrong, sister? And she's like, oh, I just, this place and the guys be tripping and da 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 da. And what it was the American dudes down there didn't really date the American women soldiers. They didn't want to date them. They were dating the locals. And I don't blame them. And so the women couldn't wait to get out of there. But see, that goes back to your average logical thinker. She's on Diego Garcia. She has the pick of the litter. She loves where she's at. Now remember, she's in the middle of nowhere, Indian Ocean. She has the pick of the litter. It's real. She's living that life, right? Panama. So now the guys are living the life. And we love the military. We love our thing. Life could not be better, right? So sometimes it evens out. But true story though, I never saw an ugly woman there. And you could take a woman to the Popeyes, chicken to get some El Pollo Loco, and she really appreciated it, fellas. And I'm not talking about, thanks for the good time and kiss on the cheek. She really appreciated it and gave you a massage when she was done. Okay. After that, I went to Panama. Every time Panama came up on the board, I was on that Panama trip. Loved it. James, I have a master's in common sense. Thunder at Michael. Lady Elizabeth says, I got a BA in psychology after retirement, became a therapist, got my master's in project management and was a Southwest and SW and HW project manager before I retired. I used my degrees, thank God. Yeah, see, you're one of the lucky ones. Most of us, we don't use our degrees, Like a lot of people say, well, Dom, how come you don't have a master's degree? Because in aviation, having an advanced degree is great, but it really comes down to your experience, your flight hours. That's what makes you who you are. Combined cumulatively, I probably have 8,000, a little over 8,000 flying hours, something like that. I know at least 6,000 to 7,000 was in the military on various aircraft. So that's your experience. Nobody cares about your degree. Who cares? Yeah. For our governor race, the Dems gave y'all a preview of how they felt. Louisiana didn't even try to give us a governor candidate. Yeah, but see, you guys, Yanni, were the template of the stay-at-home situation. And that really messed the Dems up down there, that governor's race. I mean, that really showed the Democrats that, Black people, if we really wanted to upset the apple cart, Louisiana was the one, because they had that Black guy that ran for governor as a Democrat, and you guys sat it out. Y'all didn't even participate. Michelle says, my husband is a 21-year Army veteran. He retires in again in 7 years, and I have a few more years to go. We live very well, but we do live within a budget. We do not spend frivolously. Vehicles paid off. Everything's good to go. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Michelle. A lot of us are going to be okay in the end. It's not the end of the world, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe now, some people could go take that vacation. Maybe now they can open that business they keep talking about they're going to do and give it a try and work for themselves. I don't know. Like I said, in the 90s, we went through it, and I, went through it back in those days, and I didn't like it at the time, but it worked out for a lot of people. Your avological thinker says, flying through Vermont don't count, Donovan. Touched ground in Idaho or Arkansas. Somebody's calling me. Thunder, it would be nice if every place and city that has a MLK Street could be an economic center. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is every city that I've been in that has an MLK street, it's the most violent street in the city, and a lot of black people live, on that street. It's ironic. Yeah, Michelle says, I am a military, married almost 36 years. Man, what a blessing. 36 years. I have never made it past 2 years in my marriages. I've never made it past 2 years. There's not a lot of us on these other places, but it should be able to help and protect other black travelers. Yeah. Your Abological Thinker says, I understand, Donovan. I was always the militant, pro-black one, so they are surprised I voted for Trump. They just don't understand that Biden was against blacks, and they don't want to understand that. Yeah, I mean, people just don't want to see what's right in front of their face, but we're making believers out of them now. Your Abological Singer, Gung Fu. Oh my God. So, hey, I'm gonna get to the bottom. Let me get to the bottom of this. I'm way behind you guys. This dog wants me to take him walking. Let's see. I'm gonna start right here. Michael says, wait. Yeah, I knew it. You're Abological Thinker. I asked to extend my deployment at Diego Garcia. Most women do. When they get there, they volunteer. They say, hey, I'll go for, a year, 6 months, whatever you need me. The Navy chicks, and those Navy chicks were like, with the dungarees, or at least when I was in, they had the ugly dungarees. They always extended. My aunt, who's like 5 or 6 years older than me, she got orders to go to Diego Garcia. So she calls me, right? She goes, Donovan. She goes, you were stationed at Diego Garcia, right? I said, yeah. She goes, well, what's it like over there? I just got orders. I said, you're going to love it. She said, what do you mean? I said, you're going to love it. She goes, I heard some things about it. You're going to love it. She loved it. She's a retiree right now. Facts, not feeling. Where in Panama? Yeah, Howard by the Los Americas Bridge. That's where I was at, because that's where they had all the airlift assets at Howard. And you would go to Albrook, and then Albrook had the BX area. You would go over there and kind of hang out. Let's see, your Abological Thinker. My homie said I was going to be hurting when I got orders to Germany because the brothers are hounded by the Europeans. This is 100% true. I guess I got lucky, dated a German black guy, then met my kid's dad. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The American dudes won't mess with the American military chicks, but those European guys, they'll date American, chicks, and no problem. It's all good. So. Hey, you guys, great conversation. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. You guys are my people. I love to have these conversations. With Facts Not Feeling says, no natives on Diego Garcia. No, Diego Garcia is a military base. They outsource a lot of stuff. So there's some Filipinos there that are contract workers. But there is no civilian population there. It is a land aircraft carrier, basically. There's no civilian population there whatsoever. I lived there for a whole year. And your Abological Thinker, if you look on your SMART transcript, your military transcript, you should be able to see that you have sea duty as an Air Force person on your transcript. I have a year of sea duty on my transcript there. And if you don't have it, you need to get it put on there. You need to get it put on there. A lot of Air Force people don't realize that to the Navy, that's called sea duty. Not that it means anything to us, but you should make sure you have that on your military transcripts as well, that you completed sea duty in your time in Diego Garcia, be it 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. So doesn't mean anything, but if you're ever talking to a Navy guy, you can say, yeah, I did sea duty too. Yeah, I was on Diego Garcia. So, but I love having these conversations with you. Yeah, it's sea duty. You are entitled to sea duty. That's points towards sea duty. Hypothetically, if whatever the Navy requirement, if there's a medal for that and you meet that requirement, you can get that medal. So again, see, the veterans, we love to tell each other things that we might not know, but look that up. Have that on your transcript. If anything happens to you, whatever, It just goes to show you the duality of the military of how, we have different branches that cross each other, so yeah, you can get C duty on your transcript, and it just makes you look as a more well-rounded airman too. That you could do that. Yeah, yeah. Catch the replay, Mike. We're just chatting it up a little bit, but in conclusion, you guys, when you see these representatives, look at the paperwork. Jasmine Crockett, she looks black. She sounds black, got the beautiful braids. She likes to curse. She's down with the sister girl thing. Check the paperwork, and you're going to find she doesn't do a damn thing for black people. Okay. Always check the paperwork. Donovan, Saadiq, you guys have just been informed. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully on the Demetra K show. Yes, we deported Demetra's ass out of California. Yes, we did. Don't let her tell you anything different. And she's like a lot of these illegals. She keeps bringing her ass back over here, but you know what? We're going to keep shipping her ass out. But she's a citizen. So we got to play these games with her because she's got rights. But join us tomorrow for the Demetra K show there tomorrow. And hopefully we have something great to talk about. Tiffany Henyard got blown out. And it was all over the news. And they still haven't found her to get, a quote of, what happened, whatever. But see, when you talk all that yin yang, city girl shit, but as Black people, we have to do better in participating in representation of government. We have to do better. Only 25% of the people in Dalton voted. 25% of the people decided who's going to be mayor and who's not going to be mayor. That is our fault. So when these politicians are robbing us deaf, dumb, and blind, that is our fault. I FOIA'd asshole Corey Jackson, my assembly member. Right now, they are in violation of my constitutional rights because I was supposed to have been given that information according to the Open Records Act. So right now, I could technically sue them for not giving me the information that was entitled to me. I called up to Sacramento today. They said, yeah, we saw your thing. We don't know what happened, whatever. But do you see what I'm saying? They depend on you guys being ignorant and not knowing what you can do and what you can't do. But when you challenge them and they realize you know what is going on, you can stall me all you want, but I'm not going anywhere. Do you guys realize for a constitutional violation by a public official, that's a $2,500, I think it's $25,000 fine right there, $25,000. Indisputable. I put the FOIA request in because, they could deny it. It's simple to say deny. I could appeal that denial and you just go through the process. They didn't even do that. They've surpassed the time allotted limit without giving me a reason. So now they're in violation. I could sue them. What are they trying to hide? And what I'm requesting is his travel records, his credit cards, his staff's names, numbers, and salaries. I'm going for the jugular. So you got to use the law against them. The FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Now, in some cities, it's called a public request, a public records disclosure. It's called different names, but there's the federal one, because the federal law is the supreme law. The federal law is supreme. Then you've got the local state laws that kind of mirrors the federal law. Public records request. That's what it's called usually locally. So right now they're in violation and they have to give me an answer very, very soon. And that guy was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, really? Yeah, I think I saw your thing. And keep everything. Keep everything. Oh, no, yeah, no. See, here's the thing, though. He's a public servant. He has to meet with me. They can't pick and choose who they want to meet with. Part of our constitutional rights is I have a right to, my mind's kind of going, so I'm hungry. I have a right to bear my grievances against my government. How do I do that? through my elected representative. He has to meet with me. If you don't like to be criticized and called names, why the fuck are you running for public office? Why are you a representative? You know, see, that's what I'm saying. When you challenge these people, they hate it. And if I'm so wrong in what I'm doing, sue me. Sue me. I want you to sue me, because guess what? When you sue me, what happens? And I can lose. Number one, it makes you look bad suing your constituent. And then what are you suing me for? He called me names. I want him to sue me, because then in court, I get discovery. I get everything I ask for in court. See, and that's why he won't. It's all bluff. In 1966, the Supreme Court upheld the fact that a constituent could basically outright lie on a public official, and there's nothing he can do about it, because they have a bully pulpit to refute what I'm saying. So if what I'm saying is bullshit, tell everybody it's bullshit. Tell everybody, you got access to the news. You've got access to, you have a bully pulpit to refute everything I'm saying. See, and that's the thing. He wants to play victim, but what am I suing him for? Hey, I'm just asking basic records. I want to know your travel schedule, not your travel schedule, but where you've traveled in the last 2 years. I want to know what you use the public credit card on. I want to know the salaries and who is working for you. I want to make sure there's no nepotism going on. See, when you start digging and asking for stuff like that, they get nervous. Then also, I said, I want to know how many paper clips you've ordered in the last 4 years you've been in office. So that means he has to get me a detailed number of how many individual paper clips. See, so now I'm making his staff do busy work. And he has to get it to me. They have to get it to me. This is how you hold them accountable. Right now, as I'm doing this broadcast, my city staff is monitoring this, because they want to know what I'm talking about. Like I said, the rise of Donald Trump, that's our fault. That's the people who were not paying attention and not participating in civic action that gave rise to Donald Trump. That's our fault. Oh, your average logical thinker, they hate it, right? Like, see, I had to teach the city to not fuck with me. When I would go in there, I would say, I want to know how many spare tires the city transportation apparatus has. I was just networking stuff, and they had to get it to me, which means they can't work. Certain people can't work on important things. So I'm tying them up with frivolous things. To them, it's frivolous. To me, it's very important. I think it's very important that I need to know how many pencils the city is spending in government. And this is what we got to start doing. It is our fault when this corruption happens. You can't blame the thief. That's his job. The thief's job is to steal. It's our job to vet to make sure this person's not a thief. All right, you guys, I've ranted enough. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys be safe out there. Average Logical Thinker, go to her page. You guys subscribe, become members. She's got her green screen up. She's got her character. She's moving forward. What you need to do is join the African Diaspora News Channel. And by the way, you got 2 days left to get 20% off on the African Diaspora News Channel app. 2 days left. So if you guys want to do that, buy a subscription. And your average logical thinker, I'm going to go to your page later on today. I'm not sure if you monetized it to whatever, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to buy some memberships for some friends of mine and do all that great stuff that we need to do. But you guys, thanks for listening to me. Do not be afraid. Stop being afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of out here. Black, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. There's nothing to be afraid of. Economically, Black people are at the bottom. We have nothing to be afraid of. How many of you guys seen the movie Which Way Is Up? Richard Pryor. Remember when he was playing Pops and he was telling Pops how, he was up there with Juarez and the little boy was out, what happened to your arm? And he was like, white man almost, broke it off and stuff. And Pops and Which Way Is Up was saying, that ain't none of your concern. That's between them Mexican and them white folks. He gonna be the first Negro to see his funeral on TV. So basically, same thing for Black people. Stay out of Hispanic and white people's business. Stay out of it. Get your popcorn, relax, do your thing, do your thing. So again, you guys be blessed. I really appreciate you guys for listening to me rant. It helps me get things out. And it is one of those things, but go see your average logical thinker. She was dropping some dimes this morning. I'm very proud of you, your average logical thinker. I really am. I am very proud of you to step out there and give a different perspective on different things. We can't always talk about politics. Let's talk about what is going on with the basketball wives and what's her name, keeping that African man's mansion and possibly getting him deported. Did you see about that one? Yeah, the electric car by Burkina Faso, stuff like that. But see, they're doing stuff. Why aren't we doing stuff? Why do we have to be so dependent on the white man? If Trump is so evil, then maybe that's the answer that we need to do for ourselves now. We need to do for ourselves. Since Trump is so evil and he's a fascist, let's just do for ourselves now, right? That's the excuse to do for ourselves. I'm just saying. All right, you guys, don't forget to sign my petition to get Demetra K off the internet. She's got to go. She's waking too many of you people up. We've got to get Demetra off of the internet. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys be safe. And I will talk to you guys mañana.